All right, we are live on Facebook this morning. Welcome back into our last installment of this great series. I'm Carrie, and I'm back with Teresa today, and we are going to finish up talking about the Enneagram and essential oils. I hope you all have enjoyed our series. We were just talking that we're going to miss each other tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So we have truly enjoyed doing this together, and I hope you all have enjoyed following along. And if you're like, you just hopped on this broadcast or watching the replay, and you're like, I don't really know what you guys are talking about. What the series is? Go back and watch the other two installments that we've done. We are talking all about the Enneagram, the different harmony triads, and how you can use essential oils in those numbers, and then together as a blend. It's been a really, really interesting and different and new fun take on the Enneagram plus essential oils. These two great tools that we both know and love. So we want to kind of dive right in today to talk about the last triad, which is the 3, 6, and the 9. And I'm really excited because yesterday was kind of my turn because that was my triad. I'm a 5. And so today, Teresa, this is kind of her zone of genius, maybe, she's a 3. So I'm excited to see it from her perspective and really talk about some of these oils. So Teresa, why don't you kind of just start it off by talking maybe loosely about these 3 numbers, and then we can kind of dive into talking about this essential oils.
Sure. So it has been so fun, Carrie, and I thank you for the invitation and just, being your 5 self, the idea to even put this together. And for those of you who have been following us, or like she said, maybe you're new, this is just the beginning of kind of this exploration with this. And so this information will be out there for you all to discover and to work more with. You can check it out over on my podcast, The Enneagram in Your Real Life. You can check it out on Carrie's coming up at Take the Upgrade. So you're going to hear more about this, and we want to hear your feedback too. So let us know what you're discovering and what you're finding as you use the oils. And we've kept it kind of under wraps for a few weeks, and it's been fun now to put it out there and just see people's response and go, oh my gosh, this is a whole new way of me connecting with the Enneagram, both, physically in our bodies, and then, spiritually, and just what it opens up with our minds and our emotions. So let's dive into the 3, 6, 9. So the Harmony Triad model is connecting one of each of the Enneagrams to the 3 centers of intelligence: our head, our heart, and our gut. So in the 3, 6, 9 harmony, the 3 is the EQ space, or the heart space, and that's actually my home type or home base. The 6 is the head type, or the IQ space, and the 9 is the body space. So I'm going to start with the 3, and then you're going to share with us what the oils are for that. But let's talk about the 3 first, and then we'll go back maybe and talk about all of them together. So many times the 3 is called the achiever. And the 3 is very organized and likes things to be, achievement and success oriented. The joke that they make here, even about the United States sometimes, is that we're a 3 culture. We're very much about that drive and that recognition and accomplishment. Sometimes 3s can be very competitive. They're able to adapt, that chameleon-like quality. Like, okay, let me survey the room and see who's in the room, and I'll adapt to being like that. That's not always the best thing, because that doesn't feel really authentic. So you can see where sometimes that could be a problem. But it is about that perception. It's about that image. So when they're adapting, they can actually come across sometimes as superficial, cutting corners. It's good enough. Let's just move on. We're always in that forward motion. Intense, that guilt and shame piece that sits in the EQ emotional. It's like, I just need to do more. If I do more, I'll be liked. I'll be accepted. So for a type 3 to move from being the achiever to being effective, that's the beauty that they bring to the world, is to move to that. I'm optimistic. I'm self-assured. I can be introspective. That's when we move up to our 9. I can be introspective. I can bring energy, but without an agenda. And I don't have to be on an agenda all the time. I can be present. You talked about that yesterday with your 5. I can be present to people and really connect with their emotion. So
Yeah.
I love the oil that you've chosen for the 3. So you want to share about that?
Sure. And my sister is a 3. So I love what these people, for lack of a better
These
word,
people.
this group of people, this personality type, what it brings to the world. Truly, it does. I'm very close with my sister, and I actually thought I was a 3 for a while. And so it's just, I have a lot of the characteristics of a 3, and I think they're just amazing people. So I chose Tangerine for this number. And Tangerine is really, as Teresa was talking about this number, sometimes 3s can feel really weighted down just because they have a lot on their shoulders. I mean, they want to get things done. They want to present a great picture to the world, maybe. And so that can be a little burdensome. And so Tangerine's really going to help them move from feeling overburdened and just weighed down to creative and spontaneous. And I know that sometimes, 3s want to get things done. They're very planned people. And so spontaneity is something that may not pop up that much, but that kind of goes with being present. You're going to be spontaneous and in the moment, and really learn to kind of let go of some of the expectations that you put on yourself and you feel like others put on you, right? You really do try to make room for your creative side when you use Tangerine. So I love to just put it in the diffuser or put it in the palm of your hand and just cup to inhale. It's really a great just burst of energy, in my opinion.
It is. And, I've been using it after we started working on this process of putting the oils with. And I just noticed for me as a type 3, just like you said, putting a drop in my hand or putting in the diffuser or the little roller bottles or however you use it, it just has that clean, crisp that opens up. So many times as a 3, we live in the future. And, what do we need to get done? What do we need to accomplish? Yes. And we're very leader driven, and we can, assign everybody something to do and all those types of things. And I'm sure, as you and your sister work together in business, you see those characteristics in her as well. But that Tangerine just really kind of goes, just be present. Just,
it's like a breath of fresh air, kind of.
Yeah, just experience the moment. And so I love how that oil invites us to move from, that achiever to effectiveness. And, when we work with the descriptions of all of the types, they're all characteristics of moving from the outside of the edge of our type to moving to the center, to moving of what the good is that we bring to the world. What's the quality that we bring? We hear a lot as people talk about the Enneagram of like, oh, that, and it's all funny. That's how we do this. That's how we do that. But it really is about that growth and transformation. So let's look at the type 6, which is in that IQ place. So the type 6 is many times viewed as very dutiful. So they're insightful, they're team players, they can be hyper vigilant if they're kind of living on their edge about their environment. It's that safety factor, because the root motivation of the IQ space is fear in one way or another for the 5, 6, and 7. So it's about their environment being safe, their relationships being safe, trusting themselves. They almost question everything. It's that headspace, right? And multiple options, but they also move from dutiful to loyal. So they're so trustworthy, almost sometimes to a fault, and they can sometimes get anxious about that. So when they're adaptive, a little bit of a worrier, a little bit of paranoia, preoccupied with kind of worst case scenarios, the pros and cons list, the cons always look worse. And they got the longer list over there. But when they move to their authentic self, it's that collaborative, problem solving, persevering. Devoted is a word that I know 6s really love. It's not about dutifulness, it's about devotion, which is a totally different way of coming present to other people and coming towards people. So what's the oil that you have for our lovely 6s?
Yeah. It's a special one because not just because of this, but my husband is a 6. And so
there you go.
I just have a special connection with that number, I feel, and know it pretty well. Also because I tend to go toward the 6 as a 5. That's kind of what I tend to go more towards instead of the 4. So this space it's one that there's so many good qualities about it, but sometimes you can tend to see all the bad just because there is so much fear that surrounds this. So I actually chose frankincense for this number. And it is a very special and sacred oil. It's actually called the oil of truth. And so as 6s sometimes tend to just stay in that fear-based mindset, and it's hard to come out of that. I think we all probably could struggle with a little fear depending on what our personalities tend toward. And it's hard to come out of that sometimes because it can be just much easier to live there, to be honest. And so this, using this oil is really going to help you come out of that space into the truth. And you've all probably, even if you don't know much about essential oils, you've heard about frankincense because it was brought to Jesus at his birth. And so it's just a very special oil, I feel, to connect you to God's truth and his path for you, and to really just surrender to that and have an abundance mindset that he's going to provide you whatever you need in the time, because he gives us everything that we need. So I love this oil, and I feel like it's a very special one for a 6.
It is. And I was so excited when I got the list back from you and we were talking through the oils that frankincense got to be in my Harmony Triad blend, because it is a beautiful oil and it has so many healing properties.
Definitely.
So many uses that you can use frankincense for. But how you've described it as bringing out the truth and letting a 6 feel safe. There is just something comforting about the smell of frankincense that it's like, okay, I'm not alone in doing that. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's just a beautiful oil. So I love that it's in my triad. So, let's talk about the type 9. So the type 9 does bring peace. And, sometimes people will describe the Enneagram and say, the 9 sits at the top of the circle and it's kind of putting peace down onto everyone and bringing peace to all places. What a 9 does bring that mutual regard. They're stable, they're optimistic, they're always supportive, but where they can get stuck is they dislike conflict. And so it's kind of like, we'll avoid conflict at any cost. That can become a tension for them as they sit in that body space of kind of hold the anger or the emotion of that conflict inside of them. So they can kind of back away and seem disengaged sometimes. So what the invitation for the 9 is to move from being a peacemaker to being, or a peacekeeper, sometimes people say, to just being peaceful. Just being at rest. So instead of being kind of numbed out or undisciplined, maybe conflict avoidant, they're moving to compassionate, and they're coming present and non-judgmental and diplomatic, using that ability to manage conflict in a diplomatic way and bringing that voice to the situation. And my husband is a 9. So just like your husband is a 6, my husband is a 9. And when he's in his best self, I see him be the peaceful person and be able to be that peacemaker who can manage the conflict instead of moving away from it. So what do you have for us in the 9 space?
And I will say, I love 9s. I think you can just feel that peaceful presence that they bring, and what a gift. I just feel like we all want more peace in our life. And so I feel like this is such a gift that a 9 can bring. So I have chosen spearmint for the 9, and I chose it because it's the oil of speech. And just like Teresa said, sometimes the 9s want to really create that peaceful situation, whatever they're in their home or their work environment or between relationships of any kind. And so if they feel that what they're going to say may be hurtful or cause friction in any way, they're going to not speak up, but they can really trap that inside. And so this is going to help them get out of some of their thoughts when they want to hide in that. And really just to speak what's on their heart in a loving way, that they can. They really do that well when they do choose to write, to move into that more of the speech instead of holding back. So it really helps them also to articulate well, which sometimes that can be, if you want to retreat, that's easier to do. So it's going to help them articulate what they want to say as well.
Yeah. I loved when I smelled the spearmint, just how it does encourage almost that, come present
Mm-hmm.
part and, be engaged, bring awake. Many times they talk about, the 9 kind of being in that away space. And so
Yeah.
it brings them forward, just like the tangerine
Mm-hmm.
kind of brings a different energy to a 3. And you've talked some, and I don't know if we've shared it on this. We may have talked about it on the podcast that we did together, but just can you share how the oils kind of stimulate the brain and some of that you talked about? Because I think that's such an important part of why would we use the oils to help in this Enneagram transformation and this invitation that we have to become our best real self. So I thought that was really important. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. And if you're not familiar with oils, or maybe you have them in your home and you just use them to fragrance your home, they're much more than just a pretty smell. They have actually a lot of side benefits, I like to call them. Yeah. And so when we breathe in a pure oil, it really does do something physiologically to our body. When we breathe it in, it goes straight to our limbic system. And that's what controls our mood and our emotions and even our heart rate and blood pressure. So these things can really create a different reaction in our body altogether, but yet it can help us move into different spaces that we wouldn't normally have been able to move into. And it's not just, this smells great, which some of these do smell awesome, right? And we love the scent of them, yet it's doing something even before we can know that we smell it. It's already doing something in our mind. And then our mind is telling our body to do something. So there is a physiological response, and our nose is actually very complex, even way more complex than our eyesight. And so there's a lot of things that go on that you really don't even know, right? You're just like, oh, this smells good, but yet it's doing something really neat inside of your body.
Well, and I love, you talk about that kind of limbic reaction that we have. And when we talk about the adaptive side of the Enneagram, whether any of the Harmony triads, the 852, 369, 741, that adaptive side is just that adaptive reaction. I've always reacted this way. So as a type 3, my limbic reaction is to, if something happens, if there's a crisis, if there's something that needs happen, a 3 is going to jump right in there and do it and take over and take charge. And many times, that isn't the best thing that we can do. We need to step back a bit and see, what could we bring from our 9? How could we bring peace to the situation? How could we have loyalty and trust, of the 6? So it's that full circle of accessing all 3. And I was very shut down when I first met the Enneagram and the tool. I was very shut down from the 9 space. The 9 for me, in the beginning, that was the first space I needed to discover, because a 3 can get a lot of things done. And we know how to kind of manipulate and work in the world when we're at our worst selves, and we just push through. And as I said, here in our culture, we get, hurrahs and claps for that, and, thumbs up and great job and all of those things. And so it kind of feeds that ego and that image that we're after to present to the world. So for me to learn to lean into my 9 and how to have some silence, how to have some peace, how to have parts in my day that that I just breathe. And, like you said, breathe in the spearmint, breathe in and learn to take deep breaths and let the oxygen go into my body. And I remember meeting with a mentor of mine, and he goes, I just want you to sit for 5 minutes. And I said, and this is a typical 3 response, and do what? And he's like, nothing. And I'm like, what is that? And it was really scary for me. So if you're a 3 and you're listening, it is scary because it feels like you're losing control. And for all of the types, there's something about our type that we love the control of whatever that is.
Definitely.
So in the head types, it's, control of knowledge and safety and fun. And, in the body space, it's control of the situation or of the peace or of the organization and perfection of the 1 or the love of the 2, we're controlling something. And so when we open our hands and let go of that, that's when the invitation is to move into all parts of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and go, no, for a 3, I can trust and I can be loyal.
Yeah.
And many times a 3 has had a relationship that, gosh, I can't trust that, early on, maybe in childhood. And so because I can't trust, I'll do it myself. I'll make it happen. And it could be something very simple. These don't have to be crisis moments.
Right.
But through those things, we develop a pattern of behavior of, I'll do it myself. And so as we come into adulthood, then the invitation is to go back and go, no, I can trust.
Right.
I'm an adult now. I understand differently. Scripture even talks about as a child, I saw as a child and now I see as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why the Enneagram for so many people, as we move into our 30s and 40s and 50s, we go, wow, this is a different tool that invites me to open up again and, open my hands and sit with an open heart and an open mind and an open body. And that's where I think the oils are beautiful to help open up all 3, the brain as it goes in, the body as we even experience it, through the air, through putting it on our skin, whatever that may be, and then how it connects to our emotions and just makes us feel different. So I love combining these 2 things together. It's just kind of even been for me a new experience to go, been using the Enneagram for a while. And now this is like almost in the body experience for me. So loving the 369 stuff.
Yeah, that was so insightful. It really was. And that's how a lot of how I feel as well. And I just want to say, if this is all new to you and you're like, I don't even know what my number is. And I'm like, this is just, it sounds great, but like, maybe it's a lot. And it's just something that you might want to lean into slowly, or you might want to go all in and you want to know all about it, but it's never too late. It doesn't matter how old you are, what all you've been through. I mean, that's even more reason to really lean into more of who you are and get back to that so you can bring your best real self to the world, because it's, you have something very unique inside. And so I think we should all try to work towards that, and try to really dig deep with that.
And you and I have talked, just, relationship wise, whether it's with your spouse or your kids or for me with my adult kids or people on your team. Dip your toe in the water. We have a free resource that you can download. We'll put it down in the comments below that talks about all 9 of the types. And then you've added in the 9 different oils and the descriptions and how to make a roller bottle and how to diffuse it, how many drops to put in. So we have all the recipes there. Don't let it overwhelm you. And if you'd like to talk more, I have an assessment that you can take online and it's fairly accurate. Like Carrie talked yesterday, she'd been mistyped. And so jumping into the assessment I use that I think is extremely accurate. And then I'll be glad to hop on a call and talk with you through that. And with that, I'm giving away one of the little roller bottles for your type as well, if you're listening to this. So we have some great resources, but don't let the depth of the Enneagram scare you. Just dip your toe in and then discover all that it has to offer.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. And please go take advantage of what Teresa's offering, because I think it's it's a great opportunity just to work with her on any level, but then to get the blend, it's just a perfect time. If you're like, okay, I just need to know more about this. And maybe you already even know your number. You can totally just dive deeper into it with her as well. She's here for whatever you might need. She's just so helpful. So I would encourage you to do that. And if you are familiar with the Enneagram, but want to incorporate essential oils, I would love to help you as well. So we're going to link up. I think Erica is going to link up some of the things for us in the comments, just ways that you can get in touch with us and work with us. And I would love to offer you just a free 15-minute chat to see how I might could help you as well. So I think we can both say that we just want to help each other in the strengths and the gifts that we've been kind of nurturing over the last few years, and really are very passionate about helping other people however we can. So
yes, for sure. And it's been so much fun. I mean, just to be together and partner together in this. And like I said, we'll be around to serve.
That's right. We're not going anywhere. So We'll be here whenever you're ready. And I hope you've enjoyed this series. Like I said, if this is your first video, go back and watch the other two and really dive in and learn more about the Enneagram and the essential oils. So thank you for joining us. We'll be here whenever you need us, and we'll see you later. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.